it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome to another edition of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host who's saddened because Meow Mix has gone on hiatus. The one and only Big Les.
Why would I be saddened with that? Meow Mix. I'm going to threaten you again. I'm going to take your soundboard. I promise you. It's about to get gone. What's going on, dog?
So Meow Mix, I'm good. Meow Mix it's a fan podcast for the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
And they, the Panthers have been so horrible after we got blown out by New England. Yeah. They said they're done. They can't sit there and support the team anymore. They're done. What? And they shut down their podcast.
Oh.
All of a sudden,
they weren't true fans anyway then.
We've won 2 games in a row. I'm like, don't come back.
Stay
gone.
Yeah. You were the problem. Yeah. No.
Now all of a sudden, we're rolling.
Yeah, you're not true fans. You got to ride with your team, win or lose, no matter what.
Win or lose, good and bad,
That's
and bad.
That's it.
But
the Carolina Kittens.
There are 4 things in this world that I absolutely despise.
Oh, despise. Okay, all right. Despise.
Tennessee.
Oh. Wait now. You got to clarify it. Tennessee, the state.
The University of Tennessee.
University of Tennessee. There you go. Okay.
Right.
All right.
This Alabama helmet sitting behind me says, I despise Tennessee.
Whatever. Right. Okay. Keep going.
Snakes.
Oh, I'm kind of with you right there.
Spiders.
There's my
and
number
mosquitoes.
2. I don't care about mosquitoes. Yeah.
Mosquitoes. I cannot stand it.
Yeah.
I sat there and I'm in the garage doing some work and I see one come in there and he comes toward my leg. I slap the heck out my leg. I have a bruise
and
down my leg because I hit my leg. Yes, I missed him. Because
you probably still got big.
Yes. I'm in the car with the wife and I'm like, gosh, my leg is itching. I have blood all up down the back of my leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he realized, okay, I'm not going to go to the front side again because I'm going to get hit. So I'll go to the back side where he can't see me. And just all up and down the back of my legs, I got bite marks.
Horrible. You got some of that Alabama sweet blood. That's what he got.
Basically.
He full now. He laid up somewhere in the grass. He trying to take a nap. He didn't got full now.
So speaking of getting full.
Yeah.
I last week I did the pumpkin spice. I did it for my wife.
Yeah.
I took everything down to my wife.
Yeah.
And before I could grab my phone out to record her reaction to trying it.
Yeah.
She tried them. They didn't make the road trip with us.
What?
She left them on the counter.
Oh yeah, she didn't like them.
When we came back, she did not like them.
Yeah, they were stale when she came back, so she threw them in the garbage.
Oh, she threw them straight in the trash.
Yeah, I knew it.
I was shocked.
What about the pretzels?
She didn't like them.
She didn't like those either?
She didn't like them. I had pumpkin Man Space Nation. If you missed the episode, I had pumpkin spice Milano cookies.
Yeah.
And I had pumpkin spice yogurt covered pretzels.
Mm-hmm.
The pretzel honestly wasn't that bad. It just had a bad aftertaste.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something I would go out and buy again, but the aftertaste just got me. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, it would have been on the list. I would do it. But she honestly did not like either one of these. And so that may be the key factor that broke her off her pumpkin spice trend.
Maybe.
I
doubt it.
Never has to happen in my house again.
Yeah, I doubt it, bro. She'll bring in some type of coffee creamer or something. It'll be something.
She's at the store right now, so it's possibility.
Oh God, yeah, you already know.
But
yeah, I took a journey today.
Let me hit the alert.
Food alert! Food alert! The Man Space Podcast is talking about food again. Food alert! Food alert!
So Les, since I did pumpkin spice last week, it
Yeah.
was on you, and you had to do one of two things. You
Yeah.
either had to grab something pumpkin spice,
Yeah.
or because we know that you despise liver, it was
Yeah.
either pumpkin spice or liver. So Les,
Well,
that you could carry out your assignment for the Man Space Nation.
only because I love our listeners and not because I like you at this point. I took a journey today. 3 stores in, I found which I thought was amusing that I had to went to 2 stores and they did not have anything pumpkin spice. So I was already preparing my dialogue to tell you how I failed to find it.
I
And
wonder if
liver
the
is just
tariffs will
not
hit
an
pumpkin
option.
spice.
I
That's
don't
why we're
know.
not seeing it.
It's a possibility, bro. Or the fad is just kind of like just went and rolled on out. And I'm appreciative of that. You don't think so?
I don't think
But
so.
of all places, I had my wife Google it
Mm-hmm.
and say, where can you find pumpkin spice treats?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you one guess where I found it.
Walmart.
No,
No.
didn't go to
Oh.
Walmart. Didn't go to Walmart. However, Dollar Tree.
Oh, Dollar Tree. Okay.
Dollar Tree, for all you unbougie people, Dollar Tree
Mm-hmm.
had the Little Debbie oatmeal pumpkin spice.
Oh,
It's the only thing that I could
cream
think of that was
pies.
palatable, right?
Okay.
Because they
All
had
right.
the rolls. They had the rolls, and I was like, that's just too soft, too much. It's going to just splatter everywhere, and I'm going to get sick.
All right,
I'm already getting
let's
sick.
let's go with it. Let's
See, I
let's
knew
do
you
this.
were gonna. I knew you were gonna do that. You just why do you
Yes.
like just rip the rubber? Just rip it off, okay?
Right. Do I need to give you a drum roll? Oh, I'll wait till you get
Man,
the package open.
you got to give me like 15 minutes, man. God,
Nah, bro, we got
you,
a guest, man. We don't
you
have
remember?
15
You
minutes
remember,
for that.
you remember you was a kid and you got in trouble and they said get in here and it took you 15 minutes to walk in there. That's how I feel right now.
Bro, that you get into more trouble for that. Now, come on.
Yeah. Okay, man. Look.
How do you tell me? Eat it. Eat
Oh man. All right. Here we go. This is oh man. Hold on. Let me give it the sniff test. Not too bad. Actually smells a little more
Oh, he's got a little
oatmeal
smile on his
pie-ish.
face there. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. He might have a winner. He might have a winner. He took the teeniest of teeny bites. No, get in there and get a man-sized bite.
That wasn't a man-sized bite, man. That's how you taste stuff.
Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Go in there.
It's more oatmeal cookie-ish.
All right.
Oh, wait, there it is. There it went. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
I really
Oh, man.
despise those videos
But
that you see online where you see somebody and they're trying different foods and you
yeah,
hear them them eating and chewing and everything. And
yeah. So you
yeah,
telling me
that's
you
all I can
despise
hear
me
in my
right now?
ear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
All right.
Well,
You're
listen,
not looking like you're throwing the rest of it away, Les.
no, I'm gonna eat this. I spent $3 on this box. I'm eating it.
Well, why you sit there and finish chewing? I am going to try and wipe the tears from my eyes and introduce our guest. Oh my gosh.
Hey, these the one. If you don't like, these the one right here. Little Debbie's, boy. Pumpkin spice oatmeal cream cookie pie. Eat the cream pie. Oh
Oh
man,
my gosh.
Little Debbie's gonna always be the number one in my book.
All right. Well, Manspace Nation, we have a guest that is joining us. His name is Patrick Hardy, and he is not the typical disaster expert. No doom and gloom, no scare tactics, just real actionable insights from the forefront of the world's toughest disaster challenges. Between setting a world record, which we talked about in the last episode, for 28 hours of nonstop CPR, building emergency shelters with Lego blocks, and evacuating 240 cats. Wait, 240 cats.
Yeah.
I'm loving that sounder. I really am.
I'm done with it already.
In 90 minutes, Disaster Patrick's mission is to push the edge of what's possible in preparing for disasters. Manspace Nation, he's back again. We had him in the beginning of September to talk about Disaster Preparedness Month, and we brought him back, and how apropos that this week is National Earthquake Preparedness Week. So perfect timing as we're recording this one. Manspace Nation, give a round of applause for the one and only Disaster Patrick.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. And yeah, you're right. Actually, I was surprised because a lot of people don't realize that today actually is October 16th, and this actually is the day of the shakeout in California. I don't know about the East Coast. You'll have to tell me, but in California, it's a big deal because at 10:16 a.m. right? Because it's 10 right, October 16th, right? Makes sense. That's very government. So 10:16 in the morning, they simulate an earthquake and they tell everyone, get down and cover and do the whole thing. And so you're supposed to do that. So like when I was a kid, we did that in school because I've been native born Californian, and you just get used to it because they always told you at any time we could have the big one. We could have it at any time. And so you're always like, when you're a kid, you're always like preparing for it. So it's like every year, it's like the reminder. There's that sword of Damocles that's hanging over your head. It's like it's like a pumpkin spice cookie that you just can't stand, but you're gonna have to eat it. So kind of like that.
So this one was palatable. So we're all right this time.
Yeah, Patrick, where do you stand on the pumpkin spice? Because last time we got into a discussion about mangoes.
We did,
but this time, where do you stand when it comes to pumpkin spice?
I'm a pumpkin spice guy. I really like pumpkin spice, and I'll tell you, when I decided to go to graduate school, I wanted to go to graduate school in Europe. So I went to school in London for graduate school.
Okay.
And I brought something in my luggage. I brought actually multiple cans of pumpkin. Like, I mean? And the reason was because I talked to colleagues, because I was going to be there for 18 months. And so I was talking to colleagues and I found out, get this, they do not sell canned pumpkin anywhere in London. Nowhere.
Wow.
It can't be purchased. So I brought it with me, and lo and behold, I made a pumpkin pie and it disappeared. Like all of my sweet mates were tasting it. They were like, I love this thing. I've never had this. I said, this is a Thanksgiving tradition, because I made Thanksgiving dinner, right? Even though it was for myself. Like I just said, you got to have a taste of home, right? And so I brought that, and everybody ate it. Everybody just loved it. And I had another one for myself and stuff. But it's just funny because, so many people had never tasted pumpkin before. Like they either had just, they had like the spice and stuff, but nobody ever had actual pumpkin before. So they were so used to the synthetic taste that they weren't used to the natural stuff. And I said, it's amazing how different it can really taste. And as I said, people liked it so much that when I had relatives who came to visit me, they actually placed orders with them. But you bring a couple of cans of pumpkins. And you guys got a kick out of this. Here's the other thing you can't get in England anywhere. In Great Britain anywhere. Lucky Charms is outlawed.
Really? Oh, because of the dyes.
Yes, because the dyes are banned in the European Union and they were separately banned in the United Kingdom. So I had friends of mine bring boxes of Lucky Charms that I gave, because I don't eat that, but I gave it to friends and colleagues as like gifts. Like it was like a great gift. They were like, "Whoa, never thought we'd have this taste again." So there you have it. So there's another food alert, I guess.
Wow.
I never really expected to give that out, but people they're addicted to that stuff, man.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The sugar. Well, I'll tell you what, Pat. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You need some of these in your life, brother. You like pumpkin spice? Get you some.
Okay, that's a ringing endorsement, my friend. That is a ringing endorsement. And
he has never, like in all the years that we've done this, he's never come across anything that he's liked until now.
Pumpkin spice wise, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that you were just joking. Like I didn't realize you really don't like pumpkin spice. So you're not a Starbucks fan in the fall.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, neither one of us like it. It's awful. I tried the Milano cookies last week. They smelled horrible. I bit half of one. I threw the rest away and couldn't do it. I had the pumpkin spice yogurt pretzels.
Yeah.
Awful. Last year we did the donuts.
What?
I think the only thing I've
I've never
tried
heard of that before. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We did donuts, cookies. I mean, we've cleared the whole gamut. Anything that you could purchase.
I tried the Frosty last year from Wendy's, and that Frosty was really good. I can't lie on that one. I enjoyed that one. If that comes back, I would actually go back to Wendy's and get that.
Almost like these.
That was good.
Look at this. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you something. I can reassure you, gentlemen, in one area, which is to my knowledge, I've tasted a lot of disaster food. I haven't tasted any disaster food with pumpkin spice in it. So if I ever run across it, I'll definitely send an email to you guys. I'll notify you. I'll warn you in advance. But otherwise, to my knowledge, they've never done that before. I'm sure they will. But as I said, they haven't to this point. So no matter what disaster food you get, good, bad, or ugly, it's not going to have pumpkin spice in it. So
yeah, let's not speak that into the universe either. Okay.
I'll do my best. I mean, you can just edit that out after the conversation. This is objectionable material.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, we are going to play a little game with you. And this is just something for our audience to get to know you better. And our game is actually called Lightning Round. Lightning Round. All right.
That always reminds me of Mortal Kombat. Come here.
It does to me too. Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that, but that's right. It does kind of for me too. Yeah.
So Les is going to read some questions to you. You're going to say the first thing that comes to mind.
First thing. Don't think about it. Just tell me.
Okay. So is it like one word answers you're looking for? You're like, is it like as a question about my background or just things about just generally speaking?
These are general questions.
General questions. First thing that comes to mind. And this is going to be the disaster version of the lightning round.
Yes.
All right.
This is good. Oh. This is good.
I'm excited.
All right. You ready? You ready?
Not quite. Here, hold on a second. Let me get my rally cap on. Wait a second.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go.
The cap around, man. Space Nation.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Now we're ready.
He's ready.
He's prepared.
All right. I'm limbered up. Hit me.
First item you grab if the ground starts shaking. Go.
Table.
Most underrated item in a disaster kit.
Goggles.
One thing you never leave home without.
Credit card.
Flashlight or headlamp.
Headlamp.
Canned food or energy bars.
Energy bars.
If you could only store 1 gallon of something other than water, what would that be?
Gatorade.
Favorite go-to emergency drill snack.
Yeah, I'm sorry, drill snack.
Drill snack, yes.
Okay, drill snack. Whatever I thought that for. Drill snack. Trail mix.
Okay. Best disaster movie of all time.
Oh, Jurassic Park, 1993. What's up?
What's more important in a disaster? Communication or shelter?
Communication.
Okay.
All right. I want to go back to this whole disaster movie. Which one is yours, Les? Because the first thing that came to my mind was the one, I believe it was Sylvester Stallone, where they were trapped inside of the tunnel.
That's called Daylight.
That was okay. That one. I couldn't think of the name of it, but that's what the first thing that came to my mind was that one.
I don't know, because a lot of them are pretty far-fetched, but I still watch them. You know.
Well, I was speaking in Dallas recently, and I was asking people about it. And I said, what's your favorite disaster movie? People tell me, the usual Day After Tomorrow, 2012, things like that, San Andreas, things like that. And I was like, nope, that's not the greatest. That's not the greatest. And then I tell them Jurassic Park, and I always get these blank stares. Like, they're like, that's not a disaster movie. But I tell people it really is a great disaster movie. And matter of fact, doing a video series. I've done 5 videos already of this. They're on my channel, but I'm actually doing 100 reasons why Jurassic Park is truly the greatest disaster movie of all time.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be involved with that one, Russ.
Oh,
You get that link, and we're gonna have to find out, because to me, I don't know. That thing deals with dinosaurs, bro. You know what I mean?
You're gonna have to watch the videos, and so he can explain to you why.
He's got because I don't know. Ain't too much running you can do from dinosaurs, man. I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break.
I'll give you one hint about it. There's one thing about this. Maybe there's a lot of things, but the one thing that I think anybody can understand that I don't see in a lot of movies done in a realistic way is that you have a natural disaster in it. So you have a tropical storm, right? So you have the tropical storm, right? Then you have a technological disaster of some kind. And that is, you have the power outage. Okay, so you have the power outage, the animal. Okay, then you have a security emergency. And I actually say that plural, because you not only have the security emergency of the animals that are now running loose, some of which are herbivores, others are obviously carnivores, which are the obvious antagonists here, meaning they're going to eat all the characters.
Right.
And then, but you also have a cyber attack, because you have an industrial espionage, right? So you have an employee who has decided to steal the embryos, and that starts a chain of causation, which turns into this massive disaster. So yeah, you'll have to tune in, because I'm going to break it up into a bunch of different videos talking about it. So
well, see, now I can understand it already. I'm like, grid goes down, you got security issues, and you're dealing with a natural disaster with water. Okay, understood. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with a little bit more of the Manspace podcast. But before we do our break, we got to tell you about our sponsors, Manscaped.
Fellas, we need to talk. No, not that talk. The other one, about your face. You've been walking around looking like a mountain man who lost a fight with a lawnmower. Lucky for you, we got what you need. Manscaped has got your back and your beard. Introducing the Handyman, the ultimate compact face shaver that's smoother than your pickup lines after 2 martinis. No more patchy beards, no more awkward stubble, just a clean, confident, I woke up like this kind of look. Except you didn't. You used the Handyman. And the best part, we're saving your face and your wallet. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use our code TMSP20 at checkout. So go on, tidy up that mug. Your future self and your future selfies will thank you. Get Manscaped, because smooth operators use the Handyman. You're welcome.
are back with our special guest, Patrick Hardy, better known as Disaster Patrick.
I still got the rally cap on, so yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right.
He's ready for anything.
Good.
So, I have to ask you one thing though before we start this. I have to because I heard you say it and I just wasn't sure. Did you really say you hated the University of Tennessee? Did somebody really say that? Did you guys say that? Oh,
yes.
Really?
That's what he said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like I have no association with them. I've driven through Tennessee multiple times and I think it's a beautiful state. But I just thought that was a really, really weird red herring. And I was sort of thinking at some point they're going to say why. And I just didn't know why. The only thing I know
it's
about
simple,
the University of Tennessee
bro.
is Peyton Manning. Go ahead.
It's simple. You see that big old banner behind them right there? That University of Alabama?
Yes.
University of Alabama right there.
That's the sworn rival.
The flag is up here. And all back behind me over there and stuff all over here on the wall. But
got it.
Yes. And as we're recording this, we play Tennessee this weekend. So Saturday night, we play them. It's big rivalry.
Got it.
And yes.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because when I moved to Baton Rouge after Hurricane Katrina, and I first moved there, and everybody was asking me where I was from, and I was like California. And the next day, because I said to them, I don't have any LSU gear or anything like that.
Right.
The next morning, on my desk, somebody had gifted me an LSU shirt. And literally, because all I had was California gear, and I'm not going to say the college I was wearing, but they were like, you can't do that
here.
Not down in New Orleans, you can't.
No, sir. And so even in the chaos following Hurricane Katrina, somehow my colleagues were able to find a pristine, brand new LSU shirt. No water, food available. That's gone. But hey, LSU
but you
merch,
can get a jersey.
You can get that anywhere. You got to have that hookup. So I was like blown away by that. They're like, that's what you're wearing from now on. I was like, okay. So I had like the shirt, and then somebody later gave me a sweatshirt. When it got toward, gets really cold in Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I don't think a lot of people know that how cold it gets, especially because it's so humid. The air, the molecules get really cold. So like I was always wearing that sweatshirt around. People were like, now you're one of us.
Yeah, they won't stop and ask you questions now.
That's right. That's right. You got to know the loyalties, my friend. Yeah, Dad, you guys know that better than anybody. You got to know the loyalties. Everywhere I go, like people give me sweatshirts for things. Like I was in Iowa one time and someone gave me an Iowa shirt. And so I have like all these shirts, like I have Oregon. These people are like, did you go to Oregon? I'm like, no, I didn't go to Oregon. I just visited there once, so.
They got a cool mascot, cool uniforms. I'll say that much. Oregon they all right. Mighty Ducks.
The duck.
Yeah. All right.
I would like the Fighting Irish. I thought that was kind of cool. They always had that little guy in the front that's always like ready to fist fight somebody.
Yeah. Trying to take Lucky Charms over to England.
Yeah, no doubt.
Exactly. They're fighting over the Lucky Charms. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So Patrick, or should I say Disaster Patrick?
Love it.
There's a pretty unforgettable title. That's a pretty unforgettable title. I mean, Disaster Patrick. How did you get that nickname? How did that come about?
I was working at, when I was young, I was a consultant when I first started my business, and I was working with a nursing home. And this nursing home was like literally my third client. And they were in South Carolina, of all places. They were in South Carolina. And they said, and they really, and I will tell you this, you gentlemen know this really well. And many of you who are listening to this, who have lived in the South or live in the South currently or were visited there, it's a very family kind of environment. And so when I would go there, I would go there once a year to do their disaster plan. I would update their disaster plan. I would train everybody and do their annual drill because all healthcare facilities and long-term care facilities had to do it every year. So I would go back. And then eventually I heard that people started calling me Disaster Patrick. And I asked them why. And they said, well, we have a vendor who does our food. And so we call, we can't have two Patricks. So it's easy to differentiate you because Food Patrick doesn't sound good, but Disaster Patrick, that sounds great. So I was like, that's a wonderful moniker. And so literally I wrote it down and I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I thought it was a cool thing. And then eventually, they were like, we had to come up with something that's really great. And so Disaster Patrick came up and they're like, that's it. It's like hurricane whatever
Yeah.
disaster,
Yeah.
Patrick. There you have it. So
Okay. That's good.
I like it.
The lunch
Yeah.
ladies.
I mean,
named
at least
him.
he's got a cool story behind it of
Yeah.
how it came about, you know. I'm like,
I wish it was more
that
death-defying,
works.
but it was really more like, because they treat me like family, because I win every year, no matter how big my business got. I still went to their facility every year, and these people were like family to me. And literally, people were like, "Disaster Patrick." I was like, "That's my name from now on, pretty much."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think it's cool,
better
man.
than sitting there saying, "Hey, I was sitting in the shower and it just came to me." You know?
Yeah. What a disaster. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So we were talking earlier about earthquake preparedness week, and we did do the 1016 preparedness moments right then today in all of the schools around here and in the government buildings around the area. Now, I know for me, we didn't do that at all. We did tornadoes. So we did the tornado drills like every month, but I'd never done an earthquake drill before, and I just happened to see it on the news, and that's what got me thinking about this. And I started looking this up. Les, here in the Carolinas, and that's north and south, we've had a total of 71 reported earthquakes this year.
Yep.
More of them are actually in, and you know, I talk about the ones that we've had down here a lot, but there have been actually more in North Carolina than South Carolina.
Didn't know
this year. But if you go to California, they've had over 5,367 this year reported. Yes.
So an earthquake is just classified as the amount of movement
Monday.
or
no, it's just a Monday there. Seriously.
Yeah, but it's a lot of Mondays just having earthquakes if it's
right.
that many.
So it just depends on how it registers on the scale, right? So this is just reporting anything that registers. So we typically think of earthquakes as the major
the stuff you see in the
shaking
movies
and everything like that, right? Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
so if you look at that in the Carolinas, there's been one, I think, in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. But we've had 71 that have been at least below a 4. Right. I think 3.5 is when you need to call the insurance company to check. And so below a 4, we've had at least 71 that are in that range that have registered. But over that, I mean, because you haven't really heard this year about the big ones in California. I think maybe 1 or 2 that we've heard of. Most of the ones that we've heard have been somewhere out in India overseas, or along that coast. Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes down to earthquakes, like, what is one of the first things people should be ready and prepared for when it comes to earthquakes?
Well, you guys know my overall philosophy from last time, which is I say to people, no matter what, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you should always be able to do one of 3 things. And you should be able to evacuate, shelter in place, or lockdown anywhere you are, right? So, because you never know what you're going to face, right? Because all disasters in the end boil down to evacuation, shelter in place, and lockdown. And if you want to see that in action, watch Jurassic Park 1993, great movie, best disaster movie of all time. Anyways, so but what happens at an earthquake, the first thing you got to do is you have to get under something. So you're trying to, and you have to hold on until the shaking is done, right? So that's one of the first major actions you want to be able to do. So that no matter what happens, you have a way to be able to protect yourself because you don't want objects hitting you in the head. Right, that's one of the biggest problems. And so I was telling people this. I was in Washington, D.C., and they had like a 4.0 earthquake. Okay, like a 4.0 earthquake. And I was noticing all these people were in these super reinforced federal buildings, like ones that have been reinforced post 9/11, all that stuff to protect against, terrorist attacks and things. Right. And as soon as the 4.0 earthquake happened, everybody runs outside. And I was like, why are you guys running outside? And then people were like, telling me, Patrick, we got to leave this minute. I'm like, we have to leave this minute. Why? Well, we just had a major earthquake. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a major earthquake, but we had an earthquake, and it is safer indoors. than outdoors. And so the first thing I tell people is essentially is a shelter. You're doing a shelter in place. It seems strange, but going underneath your desk or underneath a table or something and holding on to it, that's a shelter in place. It's just like you would in a thunderstorm. You guys have been through thunderstorms before where people say, you can't even be outside. Is that dangerous? And so they just say, stick around, wait 10 minutes, the storm will pass, and then you can go live your life, again. But, but in that time, but that's one of the first things I tell people, you should absolutely shelter in place. And that's, it seems like a strange way to say shelter in place, but really that's really what you got to do in an earthquake, because you don't want to be walking around, because you don't want things hitting you in the head, like things behind you.
Buildings.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. If people could only take away one thing from this week's show, what would that be?
That, as I mentioned before, the one thing you should be able to do anywhere is evacuate, shelter in place, and lockdown. Because if you learn nothing else, if no matter where you go, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself this question: can I evacuate this place if I have to? Can I shelter myself in place if I have to? Can I lock myself down if I have to? So I was just in New York City, and I was telling you guys about this last time. Remember, I'm doing a series of videos that are like, remember that show Pimp My Ride? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm doing Pimp My Backpack in a sense. It's not called that, but it's like pimping out your disaster backpack. And the first guy who volunteered to do it was this New York Wall Street lawyer. Okay, so like he's a Jewish lawyer. He's a hardcore New Yorker, gentlemen. He is this hardcore New Yorker, and he was great. He was right by Wall Street. It was wonderful. And so anyway, I was showing him that we have to go down the stairs. He says, "Okay, well, I don't really want to go down the stairs," but he said, "I'll look." And he says, "I've been in this building 10 years. And I said, "Have you ever had to evacuate?" "No, I haven't, but it's always a possibility." And so I said, "Let's go walk down the emergency exit." We walked down. He didn't notice there was like the paint was peeling off the walls, and there were like dead rats on the floor and stuff. And I was like,
wow,
unbelievable. And I customized his disaster backpack, because if it's pitch black and he can't see and he's using the wall with his hand, you don't want to be touching that old paint. So guess what I got him? Really good gloves. And I said, you're going to have great gloves on. And just like you remember, you were asking me during the lightning round about having whether you should have a hand flashlight or whether you should have a headlamp. And then my instant reaction is headlamp, because now he has orientation. He has spatial orientation to get out. And so when I talk to people, regardless of, for those people who are hearing this, depending on where you are, you should always be able to do those things, because what it does is it maximizes your options. That is the key. That is the key. Do you have the options? One of the things you asked me about was, you talked about, do you want communication or shelter? And I say communication, because what communication does is it maximizes your options. It gives you more options. Can I go to a hotel? Can I go to grandma's house? Can I go to my girlfriend's? I'm just making this up here, whatever. Some other place. And communication also says, this is an unsafe area. This is a safe area. And so those options are, again, evac, SIP, and lockdown, what I call ESIPL. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So we've all heard, when it comes to earthquakes, drop, cover, hold on. But can you explain to our listeners and viewers, like, what does that actually look like when it comes to earthquake? Because there's a lot of people that have probably never even dealt with this, and they've only seen it on an episode of The Fresh Prince or something.
Well, there's actually a video I'm doing I'm recording in a couple weeks. It'll come out in the 1st of January. I actually went to we're going to go into a trailer. It's actually called a shake trailer. And we've had them set it up like a living room. We've already given them the furniture we plan to use. And we're doing a simulation of what would happen if there was an earthquake in San Francisco and you had to get out. And so where would you go? How would you get, a lot of people don't realize that, San Francisco is essentially, it's a really hard place. There's so many bridges that, there's a lot of few kinds of exits. But what people have to understand in an earthquake is the thing in that earthquake that scares people a lot, and the thing that is the least dangerous in its initial sense, is when the earthquake first starts happening, because you get spatially disoriented, right? Because now there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere where you're like, okay, things are not happening here. So if you look to the right, it looks blurry. You look to the left, it's blurry. The ground is moving, right? Everything is moving, and it's spatially disorienting. So the reason why we tell people that is because at a minimum, when you get under, it's the hold part is the real, I mean, there's the rest of it, you don't want to get hit by objects, but the part that gets you reoriented again is the hold, because now you have a grip on something. You're literally, your body feels like there is something here that is tied to you. And that allows you to reorient yourself. Because what I say to people immediately after a disaster occurs is I say, let's get focused, not calm, focused. And holding on to something helps us to get refocused, where otherwise people get really disoriented and then they start making decisions they shouldn't. And actually holding on does that. It forces you almost to stay in the shelter in place, right? Because you don't want to run around. You want to stay underneath.
Right.
So holding on is really good. And so when we used to do it as kids, I mean, it's so funny because when you're 8 years old, you just think it's silly. But then when you've been through the real thing, I was in Northridge. I was in the Northridge earthquake. That was a massive quake. And that was something that, you know, when that happened, you know, my father happened to not be there time. My brother and my father, I don't remember where they were, but they weren't home. It was my mom and I. And it was pretty jarring. And immediately I went under the desk because you know what? All those dumb drills we did in school trained me to immediately go under a desk.
Get under a desk.
You just do that by default, right? Just like in a tornado, people who live in tornado zones, they know when they say tornado warning, that means get in the bathtub or whatever, or whatever. You get her underneath the crawl space. Now's the moment. You don't think about it, you just do it. And that's the reason why that's so important. And that's the automatic piece of shelter in place. Hold on, wait till it's done.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, let's go ahead on. What are some of the most common mistakes people make during earthquakes, and how can they avoid them?
Well, the first mistake people make, and it's the one we were talking about a moment ago, is people have this immediate impending feeling that they need to leave. They need to run. And they feel like they need to run. And I'm going to tell you this, which is, there's a lot of disaster movies. I mean, ones we would really call disaster films, like San Andreas or 2012 or one of those. Right. And if you were to watch trailers or you were to watch, TikTok clips of those, and they're on TikTok. Like I get messages from people sometimes, where you respond to this TikTok clip. So I'm actually going to be doing a video playlist series on like my reaction to some of these things, because some of these you shouldn't do. And what you see is in earthquakes, people are outside running. Inevitably, the earth is opening up, right? Yeah. And it swallows up some poor extras, and then everyone else is like, exactly, like you're trying to. And it's always the one guy, right? He's running, and the crack is behind him, and he's out racing the opening of the earth. And that's the thing, is that I just tell people, as I say, the last thing you do is go outside, because you can get hit in the head by so many things, because that's the real danger. That's the real danger. So like this behind me, sometimes people say, well, what about this? This thing is clamped to the wall, and it's got a dual clamp on it. And in fact, that thing up there, that's that statue I got when I lived in the People's Republic of China. I got that golden statue, and that is actually clamped also, so that if there's an earthquake, that's not going to fall on my head. So that, you do that because, and you reinforce it because you don't want things falling on you, because that's really the biggest danger. The other thing I tell people also is that when they look at their evacuation locations, so they say, okay, we're going to evacuate to the parking lot. Okay, or we're going to evacuate to this place. They don't look above them and say, oh, there's power lines here. Right. It isn't just being hit by, like a roof tile or something, which is true. That does happen. But it's that you're in a location where all of a sudden, the power lines could come down. I've done this with businesses and schools where I've said, hey, what's up with that? You know what I mean? You can't, you got to look, you got to realize this is not the best location, and where you tell people to evacuate to, where you train them to, that's where they're going to go. And so let's find a location that's safer in what we call an all hazard situation. So in other words, an evacuation location that's more appropriate in any kind of situation. You don't want to train people and say, well, in an earthquake, we're going to go here, but in the storm, we're going to go here. No one's going to remember any of that. They're just going to go where you default them. So just pick a location that's better. And so when I say to people, when you evac, think about that in advance. That's one of the big lessons learned in earthquakes, especially.
Yeah, gotcha. So the last time I missed when you and Russ were talking about the disaster backpack, right? What are the top 3 things they should absolutely have in their disaster backpack?
You should absolutely have 3 things in your backpack. And let me add something to you, Les, about this.
Mm-hmm.
You should not only have these 3 objects.
Okay.
These 3 objects should be in a pouch by themselves.
Okay.
Where they can be instantly, and the other requirement is they need to be accessible immediately. So I'm not talking about in the backpack, stuffed in there in a little pouch. There are these 3 objects. They need to be outside. So, like, we all had backpacks as kids. And so you had a backpack, but then there's always that pouch at the bottom. Remember that? We always had that one little, you stick pencils and they expect you. Nobody ever did it, of course, but that's where they stuck stuff. And that's where kids throw their cell phones these days. That's where they put it. Because, of course, something happens, they're going to instantly rage for their cell phone. But here's the 3 things. And before I say what the 3 things are, I'm going to tell you the purpose of the 3 things, because that's the philosophy I tell people about backpacks is look for the function, not just simply say, oh, I need this, I need that. Okay, you ready for this? Here we go.
Right.
You need to be able to see, you need to be able to breathe, and you need to be able to move. Those are 3 things you got to do. If you can't do those 3 things, I don't care how many pumpkin spice cookies you have in your backpack. It's not gonna matter, right?
Right.
But by being able to do those 3 things, that maximizes your options to evacuate, shelter in place, and lockdown. So that's one of the things. So if I can move, if I can see, and I can breathe, I can do something. Maybe there's no water around, I can suck it up for a while. But those 3 things. And so what I say to people is eyewear, which is usually, remember you were asking me what's first thing you think about? Goggles. And I say goggles, and people sometimes say, well, what are you talking about? Because fires in tall buildings, I actually had to explain this to the gentleman in New York. I said, if there's a fire here, I don't think a lot of people get it. If there's a fire, it's very hard to see. Very, very hard to see. So you get goggles, that's first thing. And then a mask, a really good N95 mask, and not just the COVID ones. There's actually really good ones you can get. They're actually smoke masks. You can put those on. And then the last thing we've already talked about, which is flashlights. So I always say headlamp, hand, and like a camping lantern, so that you're spatially oriented. But generally speaking, the first thing I say is be able to put goggles on, put your mask on, and put your headlamp on. Now your options are maximized.
After we did the last episode, my wife and I, we talked about the whole backpack deal, and we started, reorganizing. So each one of us has a backpack now. So we both have in there an emergency change of clothes that we just have in there. We have each one of us has a flashlight. Unfortunately, we did the COVID mask, so now I'm like, okay, we got to redo we did the COVID mask in there, and we did some disposable gloves. So that's in the backpack, and then emergency documents and stuff like that. We reorganized and put them in plastic bags, but we put them in spots where we can easily get to them, and we both know where they are. And so we're not searching for them. So it was something that we can easily grab and throw in our backpacks and then take off when we need to. So, but with that said, what's something that is surprising to most people that would be in your backpack?
I carry something in there. I actually carry incense sticks in mine. And I'm going to tell you why. People think that's very strange, and it may seem that way. But what is the sense that is the most powerful one? Remember, we were talking about pumpkin spice earlier? If I were to say pumpkin spice, you'd have an immediate reaction to that. You'd immediately say, I like it, I don't like it, whatever. And so I tell people smell. And so what I do is I have incense sticks in there so that if I have to go somewhere, let's say I'm in a random location or I'm in my car or something, I want something that gives me a sense of home. What smells like home? And so I got not even just go to some random place and get an incense stick of some smell I'd never smelled before. I get a particular smell.
Money, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. And it's like an incense that has some of the traditional herbs of where I grew up. So I grew up in Orange County, and if you live there, for any of you who've ever lived there or been there before, in the fall you can smell the chaparral. So there's a particular smell the pine trees give and things. And so I got that scent. Now, no matter where I am, no matter where I am, hotel, or if I'm at a friend's house or whatever, I can close my eyes, have the incense going on, and I immediately can get focused because I can say it feels like home. So so for anybody, including you guys too, I want to make sure you add this to your kit too. Add something in there that makes you feel relaxed, gives you a quick way of getting out of the situation, what I like to call the 30-second vacation. Just take a 30-second vacation. Like when I was a medic, I used to work long hours. And so, and you were in a lot of situations, many of them very traumatic. And I used to have under the visor in the rig I worked in the ambulance, I used to have it, and there was a picture of Santorini with all the beautiful Mediterranean Sea and everything. And I used to keep that on there. And sometimes I'd be sitting at a red light and I'd look up and I'd pull it down and I could see, and it would just give me a few seconds to just get away from it all. So include something in there that'll make you feel good, whether it's a religious text or it's a photograph or I say smell, because smell is so powerful.
Yeah.
And even a food. I mean, it could be some junk food. Like we were kind of joking here, but anything that just, as I said, not for nutritional value or calories. You're doing it because you know what? It makes you feel good. I had a kid who once said Twinkies, and I said, you know what? Add Twinkies. I'm the only disaster professional you'll ever meet that'll say, please add a Twinkie to your disaster backpack because that's good for you. So there you have it. So, but that's what I try to say is surprising. I'm sorry.
That Twinkie will last. That Twinkie will last through nuclear holocaust. So
see, Les, I was on the fence. I was about to tell you couldn't add bourbon. Then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe you could add a bottle of bourbon. And
you know what I was thinking? I was like, oh, it makes me happy.
That's kind of riding the line. It makes them feel good. But
yeah, we'll throw a little bit of bourbon in there. It'll be good to go. But I do have a follow-up question for you. So disaster backpacks are kind of like survival backpacks. A little bit different, a little twist, right? How do you feel about a firearm with your pack out?
Okay, that's very interesting because I want to first say this, which is people need to make sure they're following appropriate laws. And I live in California, so we have a lot of rules regarding concealment of firearms. We have to be really careful about that, and also transporting firearms. And I have to say one thing for everyone listening. This is an annoying disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer. I can't say what you can and can't carry firearms. So everything I'm saying is just suggested advice. The point I'm making is this is what I tell people. One of the important things in the personal side is security. Okay. Absolutely. So ensuring you feel personally secure. So it will be very specific. So if I were to tell somebody in downtown New York, that would be different than talking to someone who lives in rural Wyoming.
Yeah.
Right.
Or someone who lives in, LA, or they live in Sacramento, or they live in Alaska, or they live totally like, if you ever watched that show, like, in Alaska with bush people, they live way middle of nowhere, and there's nobody. I mean, you have to like fly like a plane to get to them. I couldn't believe how far people have just decided I'm going to sequester myself from everyone else. And it's amazing. And I don't know how many of you guys know this or not. There's massive flooding going on in Alaska. Massive flooding.
Yeah.
Because of the hurricane. And do you know how they're getting supplies to them? Have you guys read this?
No.
It's the biggest airlift in Alaskan history. They are airlifting supplies because there's no way to get there through conventional roads. Not only because of the flood, but because, I don't know if you guys have ever been in Alaska before, there are entire roads before which are parallel entirely with the fields around it. So if you get flooding,
it's flooding the fields, it's going to flood the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how many people drive on the roads on a regular basis? Nobody. So the roads are into disuse, and so there's very few people who are on them. And so the only way to get to these things, and it's pitch black, right? Because Alaska gets dark early in time of year. So anyway, the point being is that it's a little different because also I have some people who carry firearms for use of hunting because they say, where I live, I have to carry a firearm, an emergency firearm, in case I need to hunt game. And I say, terrific. So so my answer to you is I customize it based on the person and based on the location as well. I'm going to say one last thing on this. I work with somebody, a high net worth family in South Africa. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa, I don't know how much you guys know about South Africa, but South Africa is a ridiculously dangerous place to live.
Absolutely.
Unbelievably dangerous. They, without doubt, not only carry firearms, they're prepared to use them because they'll get robbed for the firearm if anyone even knows they have it.
Wow.
So they actually are prepared. They instantly are ready to use it. You see, that's a little bit of a cultural difference than me in Sacramento. Someone runs up to me, my automatic feeling isn't, gee, I'm going to pull out my Glock 45. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my instant thought. For them, it is. And then tap on the chaos of the disaster. And that's where you have.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, we are running out of time in this episode. And how time flies so fast. But share with the Manspace Nation, if you could, your social media handles and your website so people can follow you.
Yeah, it's disasterpatrick.com. Easy. There's no hyphen, no nothing, just disasterpatrick.com. And my YouTube channel is @DisasterPatrick. We have some incredible videos coming up. If I can kind of plug a couple of them, if that's okay with you guys, is we have a video. I went to Massachusetts and I shot a video where we used only an alternate currency because that county in Massachusetts uses a different currency than the rest of the United States. They use their own currency, and I developed a backpack using only their currency. I went to South Dakota and we built an entire blizzard shelter in their office using only office supplies. So we built this whole thing. We even built an indoor grill using aluminum foil and paper clips and things. It was a very interesting experience. And then for really a lot of fun, like I was talking to you guys earlier about, is the Pit My Backpack ones. We're doing the one for the guy in New York, and then we have a bunch of other ones as well. So coming up, we have a paraplegic from Missouri. I have a young boy in California. And so got a lot of different, I'm going to go into Dallas and creating one for people who have these old ratty disaster backpacks and they just want a new one. And so for any of you who are listening, who would like me to maybe do that for you, including you, Russ, or Les, if you want me to do yours, I'll do yours too. But it's all good. But the whole point is just to really have fun. So these videos that we have coming out are going to be fantastic. I've got some really interesting ones. I'm even going to be the one with the Lego blocks will be coming out in April. So we're excited about that. I built an entire emergency shelter out of Lego blocks and we tested it in 200 mile/hour winds.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna lock in. We're gonna lock in, and we need to get you back before that, so we can talk about it.
Oh my gosh, man, that's gonna be quite a journey. We'll have tons of videos. We'll have tons of stuff to talk about. It'll be great. So I would love to be able to come back. I every time I come here, I have a great time with you guys. So it's so much fun. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. We greatly appreciate you coming out.
Thank you so much. And we'll be back with a little bit more of the Manspace Podcast.
As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. Today's word is resilience, that magical ability to bounce back whenever life throws us a curveball. And let's be honest, in today's world, it's an entire bucket of curveballs. Think of resilience like a rubber band. It stretches, it bends, and sometimes it gets flung across the room, but it always snaps back, unless your cat finds it first. Resilience isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's clearly not, but it is about standing in the storm with your umbrella turned inside out and saying, you know what, is that all you got? It's what keeps us going after setbacks, what pushes us to grow through rough patches, what makes our stories worth telling in front of thousands on a stage. Remember, diamonds are just lumps of coal that stuck it out under pressure. And if a lump of coal can turn into something brilliant, just imagine what you can become. So next time life tries to knock you down, dust yourself off, give your best grin, and bounce back like the champion you are. After all, resilience isn't just surviving, it's thriving with a little style and maybe a sarcastic eyebrow raised. Manspace Nation, keep striving, keep stretching, keep growing, and keep shining. Until next time.
Man, I like that, man. The right pressure, the right pressure can make you into something that you've never even thought you could be.
I have to be resilient when I'm doing these shows and somebody opens the garage while I'm in the middle of recording. And I'm just like, what in the world are you doing? Anyway.
You knew she was gone. She could say, you know I was going to come back. She can't stay away from her.
Manspace Nation, you know what, man? I have not said this, and I've been meaning to say this for the last few weeks.
Okay.
That I have not yet done it. Manspace Nation, you can catch us now on TikTok at ManspaceNat1. We're on TikTok now. We've been holding out, and we finally gave in. Peer pressure got us.
Yeah.
You can catch us now on TikTok, and we'll put in some exclusive content on there as well.
Yeah, you can follow the shenanigans.
That's right, at ManspaceNat1. And then you know what happens every Monday night. It is Manspace Monday, so you can catch this episode and every episode 2 days early on WTMSTV.com at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as WTMSTV.com. And then on Thursday nights, you already know what it is. It is Throwback Thursday with back-to-back episodes of the Manspace Podcast. Throwback Thursday, WTMSTV.com. starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're overtime right now. So let's we gotta get up out of here. On that note,
we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Manspace.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Manspace updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at ManspaceNat1.
Until next time, Manspace Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
of here.